Hey guys, Claire here, and in today's video we're going to talk about all things Harry and Meghan. So I just finished watching the Polo documentary on Netflix, produced of course by Archwell Productions. Personally, I really enjoyed it. Like I said before when we saw the sneak peek of the show, it went in a direction that I did not think it was going to go. But it was so fun to see the behind the scenes of the polo players, on the field and off the field. We didn't get to see much of Harry and Meghan, but the bits that we did see, it was really fun to see them interacting with each other, laughing with each other. We did get to see them at the Centre polo match, or the most recent one, and Harry at another match, what was it, the US Open? But overall, I really enjoyed it. I binged watched all 5 episodes. And I wish it was a little bit longer. Did you guys watch it? What do you think? And now as I'm on the internet looking at other people's thoughts on the documentary, I saw a screenshot of an article from the Express, which oddly enough was pretty good, pretty unbiased, positive, and shares my viewpoints in a lot of ways. The article said, I watched Prince Harry's Netflix series. One thing shocked me after just 5 minutes. I wasn't sure what to expect when I pressed play on Harry and Meghan's latest Netflix project, Polo, and as someone with little knowledge of the sport beyond a vague image of wealthy riders on horseback swinging mallets, I expected to be bored senseless by the docuseries. I assumed this would be a niche show aimed at die-hard polo fans, which of course Harry is himself. However, just 5 minutes in, I was surprised to find myself completely sucked into the world of the competitors. The camera places the viewer right in the middle of the action, giving audiences an intimate glimpse into what goes on before the players get on the pitch for the US Open. Harry appears only briefly in the 5-episode series, with Meghan making even fewer appearances. Instead, the spotlight is firmly on Polo's biggest names. The series dives into their lives, their passion for the game, and their intense preparations for the US Open. The series strikes a perfect balance between showcasing the sport's technical complexities and the personal stories of its players. According to the showrunner Milos, Harry had a huge impact on the way that polo was shot, as he made contributions related to his own personal knowledge of the sport that turned out to be invaluable. Milos told Variety he, as in Harry, was involved, I'd say in a pretty incredible way, in that he, from the start, definitely had a vision. He was very involved from the start in terms of suggesting where we might want to look for storylines. So yeah, like I said, this article was surprisingly honest and unbiased. So if you guys have watched the series, did you like it? What was your favorite part? HRH, the Duke of Thomason on X, said the Daily Mail alone already has more articles on polo than there are episodes in the entire series. Unhinged behavior. And of course, the Daily Mail is not the only person who is very focused on talking about a series that they told us was never going to happen because Netflix is so unhappy with the Sussexes and the contract that they made. There are other members of the British press, the usual, who's salty because Harry did not mention the royal family or anyone in it in the series. You can never win with these people.
Polo is the favourite sport of Prince William, who of course isn't appearing in the documentary because he's not speaking to his brother. I mean, you can't do a polo documentary, frankly, by Prince Harry if you don't include the British royal family in it, because they've been playing polo for decades.
Agreed with you, Andrew. That's it. There is no mention whatsoever, and it's almost like Harry's just erased how he got into the game in this. So that's very interesting as well. He's focusing it solely on playing polo where he is now in the United States, and also when he plays for the charity over in Africa. So it's across that, but it's like he's just eliminated that past history.
They're very good. Also complaining that he's not in it enough. Now, if he would have been in it, they would have been like, oh, it's Harry, it's all about Meghan and Harry. Like, he doesn't appear, I believe, until the 4th episode, and then very little of Meghan is in it. So, I don't know. You know what it is. He can't win for losing. Even if it's a 10, even if this is the best polo documentary, which I don't believe there has been any, they're still gonna complain. They complain that he's not in it enough. They complain that they didn't talk about the royal family. But I think this is American-based polo, so I don't even understand why they're worried about what's going on in England. Why would he mention them? He's not a working royal. He doesn't play for any of the British polo teams anymore. He plays for American teams. So why would he? Like I said, he can't win for losing. They mad because he didn't mention the royal family. They mad because he didn't, him and Meghan wasn't in it enough. You know, they gonna dog it any way they can because they don't want Harry to succeed. They believe that he shouldn't succeed after them. They want them to go away and do their own thing, so they went away and they're doing their own thing, and they're still mad about it. So it's just, you can't win for losing.
Doreen on X said, watched all 5 episodes. Great documentary, great insight into a sport that I knew very little about. What a tough and athletic sportsman it takes to excel. Impressive scenes, beautiful well-bred horses, and exciting to watch the US Open. Really worth watching. Hashtag Polo on Netflix.
Jesus. So is the requirement to play polo is that every man is a dime piece? I'm just asking for the ugly polo players in the world. Is the requirements to play in a polo team that you got to be a 10? Because, Jesus Christ. I'm not an ugly one in sight. Okay, so I'm starting to watch polo. I'm on the first episode. But Jesus Christ, these men, wowzer! They're 10s. So let me know what y'all want. Wowzer.
Did you guys see the shortlist for Time's Person of the Year 2024? What are we thinking?
Kate Middleton is on the list of Time Person of the Year. Why? What's she done? I've hardly seen her all year. What's she been nominated for? Best at going missing? Her skills at playing hide and seek? Or is it for her amazing talent at photoshopping? Or maybe it's for wearing the same coat on 3 different occasions. Or maybe it's because she's managed another year with Willie. That deserves some recognition, especially when he prefers to spend his time in the rose garden. Or is it that she dressed up a bit, was in a couple of videos, had her photo taken a few times, went to Wimbledon? Oh, the list is endless. Well, it's not actually, that's the end of it. Time magazine has since 1927 named a person, group or concept that's had the biggest impact, good or ill, on the world. So it could be for ill. Not that I'm suggesting that, no. Not after all she's done supporting and highlighting cancer charities this year.
Now, speaking of the list, 2 of the people on said list has a bit of a history. Well, years before, Donald had some very disparaging things to say about Kate when those topless photos were leaked. He also had some disparaging things to say about Princess Diana. So it's interesting to me to see William looking quite pleased with himself when meeting and spending some time with the president-elect. I understand that it is his job. He was asked to represent the country at this occasion and decided to have the photo op with the president-elect. How do I say this? And I know some people are more focused on his physical looks. Some people saying, my God, he looks like he's lost a lot of weight. It was even commented on by an anchor from CNN. And yeah, I see that. But for me, it's just how happy he looks. And I always sort of chuckle when you look at William and his interactions with certain people. When he's interacting with Sophie, for instance, he always looks very happy around her. And I couldn't help but think, if the situation was reversed and it was Harry who was asked to represent the country, the monarchy, at this occasion, I don't know if I believe that he would go to have that photo op. I don't know. I don't think so. And I sure as hell don't think that he would have been smiling ear to ear, considering what Trump had said about Diana, which was so disgusting, and I'm not going to go into it or repeat it, that Charles Spencer, Princess Diana's brother, publicly commented on it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I would be that gung-ho to hang out and warmly embrace someone who said something so disparaging about my wife and my dearly departed mother. But, you know, William. William just makes some very interesting choices. And I don't think that the King William reign is going to be what a lot of people seem to think that it would be. You know, I hear a lot of royal stands constantly saying, oh, we can't wait until William's the king. You know, Charles, he's just transitional. William's going to be so much better. Are you sure about that? Are you? Okay.
Poor William, even when the sycophantic press, this time the Daily Mirror, start lauding fake praise over him, they accidentally put his brother's name in the headline. Can you see it's a picture of William, but they've used Harry's name? That's because, guys, when anyone in the professional media thinks about a royal statesman, they think of Harry. What a social faux pas to type. Get to the point of the story, Martin, I hear you cry. Why is William meeting Trump anyway? He said some pretty unpleasant things about William's own mum, yet William is there like some sort of lapdog, taking the public PR stage, convening with this guy. There's no value in William being there at all. He's not a member of the government, and if he had any backbone, he would simply say, I don't want to meet the guy. He wasn't very kind about my mum, who everybody else thought was great. That is the end of the story. But no, William has to go for his own means, because as we know, it's all about William.
Allow me to give you the backstory on this article. Kate Middleton and William were on the beach on vacation. Kate was sunbathing topless. This was a private beach, and of course, there was an expectation of privacy. The photographer had a long lens attached to his camera and took several photos of Kate. Kate and William, of course, were obviously upset because, again, there was an expectation of privacy on this private beach. Trump said, she's making too big of a deal out of this. I'm giving you the gist. She's being ridiculous. Don't turn this into anything big. He pretty much blamed Kate and said she was being ridiculous for not wanting the photos published, wanting to press charges, yada, yada, yada. He also made some rather derogatory statements about Princess Diana, William's mother. I won't go into what he said. You can look that up. He pursued her when she was in the United States, and she, of course, had no interest in him because she's not garbage. And so I'll let you look that up. I won't repeat what he said. Here's my question. Given what we know about this person and how he views women in general, but particularly what he had to say about William's wife and William's mother, do you believe William respects his wife? Do you believe he respects his mother? Or at least the memory of his mother? Let me frame this another way. Do you believe that you will ever see Prince Harry sitting down with a photo op or for a photo op with the likes of Piers Morgan? What about Angela Levin? How about Tom Bauer? Do you ever think you'll ever see the day when he sits smiling with any of the three folks I just named? And if your answer was no, which it should have been, why do you think that is?
There's just 2 short months to go for the Invictus Games Vancouver Whistler 2025 Games, which is presented by ATCO and Boeing. Will you guys be going? Have you gotten your tickets? Let me know in the comments.
The Daily Mail published the most ironic article ever. It's so funny, and I don't think it's meant to be. So, the headline is, Meghan Markle's billionaire friend Tyler Perry gives frosty answer when asked about lending Duchess of Sussex's LA home. A British reporter, who remains nameless in this piece, asked how Tyler had helped prepare Meghan and Harry for their move to America and he replied, I didn't. The Times noted that any conversational intimacy evaporated as Perry bristled at the questions about Meghan. He continued, Meghan is from California, she knows it well, so there was nothing to prepare them for. But I will say this, what I learned about mentioning them, because there's this insatiable appetite to know all about them, is that any question that is asked becomes the headline of anything I say. He called that one, didn't he? The reporter then asks why the appetite for news about them is so insatiable, and he replied, you're from the UK, you tell me. The interviewer then reminded him the headlines are just as plentiful across the pond, which I assume they want to believe that there's just as many negative articles about Harry and Meghan in America than there are in the UK, and we know that's not true just by, a courtesy check. And Tyler Perry responds, you think? Well, you would know better than I would because I'm not paying attention to that world. And the interviewer pretty much guesses, yeah, I'm not going to get anything out of him. So the Times said that at that point in the discussion, it wasn't a discussion, it was an interviewer ambushing him about Meghan, that it was clearly time to cut to the next scene because he was in no mood to discuss his relationship with Meghan. And I just find that beautiful. I love every part of that. Tyler Perry has your number, British tabloids. He knew literally less than a handful of words would get him a headline, and here it is.
They are the most angry. And I'm talking about angry and bitter and pissed off that they've never had a man look at them the way this man looks at this woman who they've already told the world is less than, is less deserving of, is not as capable of, is less intelligent than, is not as kind as. Yeah. And she has this guy. She was able to get this guy. That's a problem. The anger, the vitriol we are seeing comes from their bitterness and their anger. And the other piece of their anger is they had nothing on her. And I'm making this statement as a comparison. When it comes to Meghan Markle's reputation versus Kate's reputation, because that's the English rose, gotta remember that. They had nothing on this woman. She didn't have a history of use. She's never been to rehab that we know of. She didn't have 3 or 4 children by 3 or 4 different men. She wasn't being taken care of by some rando. She's clearly intelligent. She's a philanthropist. She's philanthropic with her time. She's a self-proclaimed feminist. They had nothing on her, and that pissed them off more. So they substituted her for Kate as the yacht girl. Come on. The picture's on my page. It was Kate. We have to sully her name. We have to find something. So we'll say she's a bully. Yet everyone with whom she's ever worked, and you guys in America...
Damn you, I will not be ignored! Get back in here! Get back in